Welcome, everyone, to the Trisbrina Show. And this is such a great topic tonight. We're going to talk about the miracle zone. And for those of you who are here live, I'd love for you to tell us in the chat right now, what is a miracle to you? What does that even mean? Because if you're going to be in the miracle zone, what is a miracle?
What zone that is.
Right? So if you could share that with us, that would be awesome. And I'll tell you what sort of sparked this conversation. It was a very funny moment. So I'm gonna try to paint it for you right now with my words. So every morning we walk the puppies, and we have two puppies. If you don't know, hello, where have you been? We have Bentley and Winston, and usually I take Winston because he poos best if you give him a running start.
We have to give you all the details here.
So he likes a little like quick walk, and that usually works. And Bentley has a bad leg, so he's got to go really slow. So we usually get kind of split up. Our walk is like 5 houses. It's not like a big doggy walk. And
not anymore.
And by the time Tristan caught up with me, I had been really thinking about miracles. It was such a beautiful morning. The birds were chirping, and I was noticing them. And there was a breeze, and it was slightly overcast, and a lot of the irrigation systems had been on, and so the grass was sparkling. It was just felt so beautiful. And I was thinking about miracles. And when we reconnected on the walk and rendezvoused, I kind of just said, are miracles real? Right? That's all I said. And he just cracked up, and he's like, I think I just walked into a deep thought.
A very deep thought. We're getting some deep thoughts right now. I'm going to put a couple on the page.
Great. Can you read them?
Darshana says, a miracle is something out of the ordinary reality.
That's really good.
We got a few goodies here. Let's see. Kathy said,
a miracle is something out of the ordinary that happens out of the blue.
Something you couldn't accomplish by trying, but it happened
as a gift from God.
As a gift from God. This one here from Bonnie says, I'm on a page where a cool little reminder from, then I click and you appear. That's a miracle. And this is nice from Melissa. She says it's something out of the ordinary that happens out of the blue. Mm-hmm. Cool. These are great.
So I was thinking about the word miracle, and how we recently did a 5-day energy detox and reboot challenge, and the theme that we really kicked off each day, and it wasn't just a theme, it was really an energy and a container and a vibration, was, can you be in possibility? Can we live in possibility? How about just for 5 days? Just for 5 days, can we live in possibility? And what does that mean? Yeah. What does that mean to live in possibility? Because that's huge, right? That's huge, depending on what religion you follow or what scriptures you follow. Almost all of them say something about all things are possible. Science says, like, energy in motion stays in motion, whatever is continues to be. And then spirituality says, in God, all things are possible. We are evolving eternal beings. So it's really contemplating all of that. And if all things are possible, and you got to sit with that. If you believe in possibility, if you step into possibility where all things are possible, then what isn't? What isn't possible if all things are possible? Well, nothing, because all things are possible. And if all things are possible, then things can become a little bit more probable. And when things become probable, then sometimes we say it's a miracle. So that's what really got me thinking about when I underlined something as a miracle. It really had to do with what so many of you are saying is, I had trouble believing it. I didn't believe it could happen. I didn't think it would happen. Like, I don't think it is a miracle, but I don't wake up every day going, it's a miracle the sun came up. It's a miracle I have coffee. It's what we expect. But a miracle, we say, is like, I can't believe that. And then we were laughing because those are actually the words that we often use. You're not going to believe this.
You'll never believe what happened to me. It's a freaking miracle. Right? It's out of the ordinary, as you all said. It's something that happens seemingly out of the blue. It's something that happens that's beyond what your rational mind believes is possible.
Yeah.
Right? It's that zone But, you know, there's so many of us who are tapping into a zone where miracles are on the regular, right? It's like, well, that's becoming my normal state. And most people say things to us like, how do you guys manifest things like that? That's a miracle. How did you do that? Like the thing, and we're like, well, we're just not living in the disbelief as much as we used to.
Yes. And so I'll say, like,
Take it.
this was, we should just like turn the camera on during our dog walks because so much happens. I was telling Tristan this morning, yeah, if you studied the Satori map, because I know many of you that are attending have, and we really talk about, unlike many other processes or businesses or teachers teach, they tell you to go out into that area you're struggling with, what relationships, condition, health, finance, whatever it is, and work on that. And we say, no, no, no. Let's bring it all in. Let's focus on the energy engine. Let's focus on the vibration. Let's focus on the energy, because when that changes, everything changes, right? So first I want to say everything's always changing, right? You look around your life, you're like, oh, no, things are changing. Yes, but are they changing to just same, different version of sameness? Or are they actually changing to a different frequency? Are they better? Are they more desirable? Are they making you feel good? Are they making you feel better? Because of course everything's always changing and shifting. And I lost track of what I was going to say.
It's okay. While you're getting it, I'll insert the part about divine grace. There is a crossover, or there is an origination of divinity in a miracle, right? Like you think, oh, it's so miraculous. I can't even believe that it happened. It's beyond human, right? It's beyond possibility. It's divine. There is an element to these miraculous things that take place that is almost supernatural, right? Now, one of you said something really clever and clear, which is, what if miracles are the normal?
Yeah.
What if they are the normal? Well, God consciousness is our normal, natural state of existence, but we don't live there. We live in the abnormal so often. Yeah. So when you get back into flow and back into love and back into the arms of grace, you are in the miracle zone.
Yeah, so maybe the miracle zone could be defined as a certain frequency or a certain way of feeling.
Yeah.
When, there just, aren't there days and times that you just feel like life is good, like everything's going my way. Oh, what a beautiful day. Right? That's when you're in that miracle zone. You're expecting good things to happen because good things happen to you. And then sometimes it's easy to fall into the something bad happened. Oh, I'm having a bad day. I'm having a bad week. And this spiral that then you've got to like work your way out of, right? So it's so much easier if you make a habit of expecting to feel good, expecting almost to the point, like expect people to like you. Or expect not to care. How about that? Even better. Expect not to care. But the thought I lost track of before is, it isn't so much about thinking about that thing that happens that we're like, that's a miracle. It's perhaps for a window of time, I wasn't having an opposing thought to that. I wasn't focused on the lack of that thing. I wasn't focused so much on the discomfort and the pain that the healing could happen.
What if miracles are actually normal, but they seem exceptional because of our limiting beliefs?
Totally, A+.
Beautiful, right on the money.
Right? So that's why sometimes we say just focus on the energy, stop drilling down and looping over that thing that you want to change, so that you stop having opposing thoughts to it. And then you are in the vibration of
the zone.
Actually, it's really just the now, right? If all things are possible, they're only possible in the now, because there's only the now. And so how do you get to the now? How do you turn this noggin off that wants to go, meh, 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 meh. Well, last time you did that, this happened, and I'm not sure about that. Who is this person in my head that thinks they know so much? Right? I don't know about that, this little 3-year-old skeptic. And can I shift that into more of a knowingness and an openness, and know that if it feels good, and if it feels light, and if it feels love, and if it feels joyful, and if it feels frisky, and if it feels fun, I'm on track.
There's a lot of feel there.
Yeah.
But that's like a clue, right? Feeling is everything when it comes to this. Getting in this zone, this miracle zone, this magical zone. Healings that take place that seem to be above and beyond what's expected. A doctor says, that's a miracle. She cured herself of cancer, right? Well, that person stepped out of the identity of somebody who had cancer. They stepped into the identity of someone who is healthy, who is vibrant, of what is possible. And the miracle maybe is the human's ability to stay in that lane.
Yeah.
That's a freaking miracle, because there's so many things trying to pull us out of the zone. It's a friggin' miracle if you stay in the divine mode, God mode, right? But that requires us being a disciple of our life. And a disciple is someone who has the discipline to say, no, this.
Yeah.
No, this.
Yeah.
Every single day.
Yep.
And don't doubt, and this is a cool concept because she has this t-shirt that I love that says, you want to read it to us?
I'll see it when I believe it.
I'll see it when I believe it. That's what the t-shirt says. And I remember the first time she put that on, I'm like, oh, that's so awesome. That's so true. It's so true because it's doubt and uncertainty and fear and judgment, all that mind crap that takes you out of the miracle zone. So to be able to believe in something beyond your evidence, right?
Yeah.
Like you look and you go, but it's not here right now. Here's what's here.
Yeah.
Here's what's here. That ain't there. So it's not my reality.
Yeah.
And then you go into this place of all possibility and true belief and alignment, love, and trust. There's a faith in this, right? No, I know something more can happen here.
It's a lot of
Above
faith.
and beyond what I believe right now, I'm going to step into possibility. And I love that you started it that way because that requires you just stay open. Mm-hmm. You don't have to be like, oh, I just totally believe it and fake it till you make it.
No.
Like, that's not going to cut it.
No.
It has to believe that something more is possible.
Yeah, the feeling of being unsatisfied or dissatisfied can actually be a habit, right? We start feeling used to feeling certain ways, and then that feels like us. You can even say, well, that's just the way I am. That's my personality. I'm very unhappy with everything. Well, get a new personality, right? But it's not about pretending.
Can I trade it in?
Yes, you can upgrade it.
You can upgrade?
You can upgrade. It's like the iPhone. You can turn it in and get some new ones. It's not about pretending to be satisfied when you're unsatisfied. It's actually shifting into, it's a different frequency. Because when we are complaining and talking about the problem, it's feeding it. It's just feeding it and empowering it and making it bigger. So if you think about, we tell the story about the white dog and the black dog. Many of you have heard it. Which dog gets stronger? The dog you feed. Complaining. What you are thinking about, the words coming out of your mouth, that's what we're feeding. So sometimes it isn't about feeding what we want. It's also about stop feeding what we don't want.
Yes.
And I think the nature of everything is abundance. It is to be in flow. It is to be in this beauty. There is just walk outside and look outside. There is such a beauty and creativity happening in nature. I heard a guy saying earlier today, he was talking about animals, and he's like, oh, think of all the animals. All of their fur is different. All of their skin is different. All the way they breathe is different. There is nothing but creativity around us. And when we can stop thinking about what we don't want, and I know it's hard, right? Because sometimes great things didn't happen to us when we were young, or we misunderstood things, and there were programs and habits, and we learned to deal and we learned to survive. And I think the challenge as adults is to say, yeah, that happened, and it kind of sucked, but that's exactly what I needed in order for me to have this realization, for me to have the journey that I've had, for me to go through all that I've been through, the good, the bad, the ugly, the realizations, the pitfalls, so that I could be here right now. So I could be here right now and realize that I'm actually able to be in co-creation and union with the energy of a miracle. Now, you can give it whatever
There's a
name you
clue.
want. For me, it's like the Holy Spirit. Like, all things are possible. All things are possible. Not most things, right? Because it's really easy for me to go, well, most things, well, except that, and that thing I want. I kind of have that. Tristan talks about what he wants, and I told him today, I have this little habit I got to drop. When you tell me all the things you want, I start thinking I better not want things because he wants so much, there's not going to be enough for both of us. I start thinking I need to work more. I need to not buy things because he's got a lot of desires, and that's not abundance. And that's something that I bring with me from coming from families that that lived on welfare, that had to get their food from the church, and hearing all those stories. There is not enough. Even though that hasn't been my life in so many years, that programming is there. So you got to be nice to yourself. Got to be really nice to yourself and just say, hey, sweetie. That's what I say to me. Hey, babe, there's enough for both of you.
We were walking the dogs, as we mentioned earlier, and Sabrina was, she caught herself in one of those modes. And she shared this, I think, recently she shared it during an energy event. And she caught herself and she said to herself, it's all abundance, silly. It's just abundance, silly. Isn't that how you said it? It's abundance, silly. Mm-hmm. And this idea, so we're bridging.
It was actually in the middle of the night that
it woke you up, and you told me about it in the morning on the dog walk.
Yeah.
So anyway, it's all, abundance is the natural state of things, right? Is there enough oxygen? There's an abundance of oxygen.
Can you believe that?
I've never doubted that there were, other than being underwater for too long, I've been pretty much in the possibility that I'll always be able to breathe.
I don't walk around, because I haven't had any trauma in that area, wondering if I'm going to get some air. Now in Texas, I wonder if it's going to be cool enough air. But that's not something that I think about. I also don't wonder if there's going to be water, because I've never not known there to be abundance of water. So can we take that lightness and transfer it over to whatever area that you want to tighten in, that you're not allowing yourself to be in the miracle zone in regards to that subject?
That's exactly where I was going with that.
Well, I know.
Thank you. You took care of it. So in order to get into the miracle zone, there are a few things that we need to do to allow for possibility. One of those is to stop focusing on the black dog, stop feeding the negative, and focus on what's possible. Another is to know that it is possible. We live in an abundant universe where magical things do happen. I remember when my back was so messed up and I couldn't walk very well, and I could only stand up at this time for a couple of minutes at a time, and I had a big corset that I had to wear around my waist, and I didn't see how I was going to get out of this situation. And my identity was shifting. We were talking about personality and upgrading your personality. And the only thing that was helping, and I knew this because I was reading books and I was watching movies and I was asking teachers and following gurus. I was doing all these different things to try to get that upgrade. And then it turned out to be the simplest thing. Just listen to other people. Share their story of transformation. Share their miracle. Your miracle is important. You've had probably so many, and sometimes we don't even acknowledge them because it's natural for you.
Yeah.
But I started to listen to people's miracle stories, and it started to shift my perception of what was possible. And so for me, abundance consciousness isn't just wealth and prosperity. That's a limited perspective. Abundance is like all things are possible. There's an abundance of energy for healing. There's an abundance of energy for loving. There's an abundance of energy for serving. And all you need to do is get out of the way and allow that abundant life force to flow to and through you. Mm-hmm. Then your container gets bigger, and you process that, and you learn to appreciate and love that grander you. And then that container gets bigger. And you just keep going because you give the energy permission to work through you. And eventually what happens is you start to realize it ain't working through you. It is you. You become one with it. It becomes an awakening of your true identity. And so then you kind of live in the miracle zone. You're super humble and super grateful for all that is given. I mean, you bow down to rise up. That's the way, right? Stay humble, stay open, stay grateful, but also know that you can trust yourself with a miracle, because you'll do good things with that, won't you? You are a good steward of the miracle. And so don't be afraid to allow a miracle to happen in your life.
Yeah.
You deserve it. You're worthy of love for no reason at all, as Sabrina says. So let's step into this miracle zone and allow more miracles to pour through us, and let's share them with people. Satori Method is a miracle. To us, it's a miracle. It's a miracle.
It's a miracle.
It's a miracle.
It's a miracle.
And we're sharing the miracle forward. And guess what's happening? More miracles.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
It's freaking awesome.
I think one of the secrets to almost like pressure cooking the miracle. So maybe we say something was a manifestation when you can detect it with your senses, right? You can taste it, see it, hear it, touch it. But wasn't it energy before it was that? Right? It was energy before the energy was dense enough that we go, boom, manifestation. Right? Almost like if you think of a seed as under the ground, so much is happening before it pops through the soil, and you go, oh, a plant. A whole lot happened before your genius mind went, oh, a plant. That thing had been going on for a while. And for me, that's the way I see manifestation. Manifestation is when I can touch it. Oh, that's it. So wouldn't it be helpful if when there is a desire or something to help the miracle zone, like someone in the chat said they had been having pain in their neck and shoulders, if along the way, while they're moving, while they're doing the energy work, attending the dojo classes, they were enjoying it. They weren't doing it the whole time going, oh God, my neck hurts. They were enjoying the training. They were enjoying the journey, because the journey is where the energy is happening. The destination, you could say, is the pop, the manifestation. But it's not going to be a happy manifestation if it wasn't a happy journey, because it's the same energy. So that's very important, that playfulness and that fun and that lightness along the way.
So important.
Even in times, yes, there's going to be things in life where there's grieving, and there's sadness, and you feel a sense of loss. But at the same time, there's this parallel intelligence of knowing more. They can both exist. It's that blended self of the physical us and the invisible us coexist together. And it's okay to feel all those things. We are never saying don't feel, but we're saying be aware of what you're feeling. Is it a habit? Are you using it to shift and grow and mold into the energy that you want to be your habit? In a way, it's so much of it is a habit. You can actually have your energy expecting good things, to where even if something uncomfortable happens, it's like sometimes you don't even see it. You've told me so many times things that happen, and I'm like, I didn't even notice. Didn't even notice, because I wasn't expecting that. It's like I couldn't see it. Those of you who attended our 3-day event, Alive and Thrive, I think it was that one, and we showed the video where you had to count the jump ropes, and then meanwhile the monkey, the giant gorilla, no, a man in a chicken suit walked in, and you don't even see him. It's kind of like that. Whatever you're focused on, that's what you'll see. Think about a movie, right? What does the cameraman do? The cameraman, when the one person speaks, they close up, and then the other person speaks, close up. And then they're talking, back away, 2 shot. You get to decide what shots you look at. You get to decide, what do you want to close up on? What do you want to turn the camera away from? That's totally in my control. Do I want to film in the miracle zone or the dissatisfied zone? And that's going to end up being the movie of my life.
I was sitting here listening to these beautiful words coming through, and I got an emotional hit. And maybe I'll share what that was in a minute. But I saw a little panoramic view of my life where I used to be very sad. And then I got a little bit happy for a while. And then I got sad again. And I got a little bit happier for a while. And some of the happy was external to internal. And then I started meditating, and I got really, really happy from the inside out because I started aligning to this love force. And then these miracle things started happening in my life that were amazing. Note to self, getting in alignment, external world shifts, the seeming impossible starting to become possible. And then big wake-up call with the back injury, got very, very sad for a very, very long time, and then popped through and ended up in a state of very awakened energy, which I most of the time live in now. And so these dips have been these nudges of the divine. But even those I will now classify as miracles because it's what needed to happen for me to step into a new state of consciousness. That's a miracle when a human can shift from one identity to another. That's a massive miracle. Because most humans...
Praise the Lord.
Praise the Lord on a friggin' Thursday. Most people stay in the same identity for the whole life and never get out of it into the next version of themselves.
Yep.
If you have become a new version of you once or more than once, you've experienced a miracle. You are a freaking miracle. The fact that you used whatever happened in your life to grow into a new human is a beautiful miracle. And let's keep miracleizing ourselves, because what I saw when she was speaking was the joy of the soul now. I laugh. I sing for no freaking reason at all. I was singing, making up songs today. I skip.
I filmed it with Winston.
I actually skip. I smile. This is all a miracle compared to the person I used to be.
I'm as a witness.
Well, through my heavy years, but also as a child, I was very scared and very not in a miracle zone. I didn't believe in great things happening. But anyway, my point is this. She talked about being light and playful. That's so important to shift your identity. And also we talked about abundance today, abundance consciousness, being open to possibility, to more than your limited thinking. But that playful energy is youthful, and I believe children experience a lot more miracles than adults because they're just so in the moment. You talked about being present, and that's kind of what happens in my brain. Like, what are all the little ingredients that are needed to make it a magical life? Because I want to live in a miracle zone. And the last thing I want to say is we've talked about this beautiful soul. Her name was, she called herself Nightbird. And she was on America's Got Talent. And many of you have seen Nightbird. And she's no longer in the physical form. But she was a gift. She was a walking miracle. She had cancer, I think stage 4 is what it's called, in her body. And she showed up to sing. And she told the judges what was going on with her. And they were like, and you're smiling and vibrant and beautiful. Like, and she said something like, I'm not going to wait for everything to be okay, to be happy. And then after, she sang and just brought everybody to their hearts. And she was off stage talking to Terry Crews. And he said, so, what's the prognosis now? She said, I have like a 2% chance of survival. She goes, I have a 2%. That's 2%. And that's a miracle. To be able to stay in that state of joy and possibility, that blew my freaking mind. Most people would be like, I got 2%. I'm done. She's like, I got 2%. Right? That's the state of consciousness that we want to shift into.
Yeah.
You do that, friggin' miracle zone. Mm-hmm. Stuff's gonna happen.
And another way that's really beautiful.
Yeah, she is beautiful.
As we try to go outside every morning between like 7 and 8 with the puppies for a minute and not be in the head. right? Be in the body, be in the heart, be the miracle looking through the eyes for a match. And we see so much on our little block, things we wouldn't see unless we were present. And I think being present just magnetizes the energy of all that is good, because you see such beauty, you see things. I could go outside and be in my unsatisfied mind and not even hear the birds that are chirping so loud, or not see the clouds moving so fast, or this giant dragonfly that hung out doing like a handstand on a branch for, what do you think, like a minute so that we could see it.
Yeah, it was cool.
Or to see the little lizard, or just all these little things that you see or that you feel or that you smell or that you notice when you're present. I really think that is the energy that opens the door to miracle, that friskiness, that I'm a part of this great, beautiful life. I'm not separate from it. It's like, what is seeing through me? Am I looking through these eyes with the eyes of a very dissatisfied person? Or is the energy through these eyes of a person that is expecting to see good, that seeks beauty, that looks for love, that looks for how can I serve, that just expects the person walking down the street to be like the greatest person ever?
I remember the first time I received a transmission, a meditation transmission, and I was taught how to go into the third eye and connect to essence that way. And that my life would change if I would meditate deeply from my third eye. And also, while my eyes are open, try to feel as if I'm looking through that point. And I went swimming that day. And I was going through the water. Now, everything seemed slower. Like the bandwidth was more open, so everything seemed slower. I was taking in a lot more data, which makes it feel slower. And my hands were going through the water as I was doing the breaststroke. And all these little bubbles of oxygen were peeling off my fingers. And they looked like diamonds. And I was so in awe of the diamonds I was creating as I was swimming. I mean, you could have said like I was on drugs, right? And I was like, these have always been there. Every time I've swam, I've just never seen them. And yet I was in the miracle zone. It's not like all these big grandiose things need to happen in order for you to be in the miracle zone. It's actually just getting more present. Buddha says if you could see the miracle of a single flower, your entire life would change. And he's right. If you could just really truly see the flower, the majesty of that single flower, your whole life would change. So don't wait for some big grandiose thing to realize you're living a miracle. You are a miracle. Wow. I'm done. I'm good. I'll have what he's having. Exactly.
Totally. Yes, and we all are. That's what's so great, is it's so fun to have this happy hour with you guys, because we all love drinking that essence of joy and love and kindness and miracles.
What a great conversation. I agree with you, Suzanne. You know, there's a lot of people showed up for this one tonight, which is really beautiful. Humans want to live in this state of consciousness, and we want to share the miracles with each other. We want to remind each other of how miraculous this life is. That's all we're doing. Let's keep having this conversation. Let's stop poo-pooing life and let's start really rocking it on. You know, it's a glorious, magical, miraculous life.
You know, so many people
Even in the middle of all the crazy.
Have said, you know, they find out something with their body and they're told they have X amount of time to live, and they're like, if I could just, you know, I never appreciated this. I never really saw that, and there's regret. And that's one thing that just really touches me, is I'm not going to have regrets. No. Fully every day. See it, smell it, taste it, feel it, love it. And that is the miracle. It isn't, I love that you said that. It isn't just living in the miracle zone for the big things. It's how many miracles have I missed?
Well, you're going to stop missing them. It's time.
Yeah.
Game on. Miracle on.
Miracle on.
Miracle on, brothers and sisters! All right. Well, thank you for joining us for another Trisbrina Show. It is date night, which means that we are going to go out and play.
We're going to leave the house.
We're going to leave the house. We're going somewhere. All right. Thank you for your beautiful shares in the chat, in the comments. Amazing. We're super grateful to be living this life with this beautiful community. And if you're new to our work, welcome. We do this every Thursday.
It's the real happy half hour.
It's a happy half hour. Much love. See you next week. Bye now.